Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Hello, friends, and welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 113, Sucker Punched Again. And as the title states, we are going to talk about what to do when you feel like you have been blindsided, knocked on your rear, let down, or what I call sucker punched. We are talking about all of it. We have been talking all year about how to create the best year ever, the best life ever, a life by design. And yet, life is 50-50. And so this may not feel like your best year ever at all, and certainly not your life by design. I hear you. I'm right there with you, and I'm going through it too. Both Dutch and I are on a healing journey, and if I'm being honest, it stinks. Right now, I feel sucker punched. It feels like an unexpected blow. It feels like I have had the wind knocked right out of me. A couple of weeks ago, my friend Martha stopped by for a visit, and she's been going through it too. And so I'm thinking maybe some of you are as well. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm doing to get through it. And even if you aren't going through it right now, you will, my friend. You are human, living the human life, and life is 50-50. Even an intentional life by design. By the time we are through today's episode, you will understand what to do in order to get your life right-sided again. Because boy, I tell you, getting sucker punched is no fun. And in fact, it can create delays in your progress towards your goal. It can throw a wrench into your best laid plans. And so often it turns into a quit. All right, so let's be clear. I'm not talking about life's little irritants like Hulu stopped working or your breakfast order was wrong. I'm talking about something that really rocks your world. And so for you, maybe it's a diagnosis for yourself or a loved one. Maybe it's a broken promise, a betrayal, finding out that you thought you could count on someone that you can't, or finding out what you thought to be true about someone wasn't. I'm talking about that kind of pain and disappointment and discomfort. Maybe you just learned that a big audacious goal you've been working on now for the last few years of life and felt so close yesterday now has a strong possibility of no longer being possible at all. Are you with me? When you're tooling along and things feel like they can't get any better, and then things happen in a fashion that feels like the rug is being pulled out from under you, it's normal to go through a series of thoughts that match what your brain is perceiving. Thoughts like, well, that's par. I knew that was too good to be true. Or, I knew that it wasn't meant to be for me. Our brains are always wired to go to the negative thought first. Our brain is wired for the negative bias. So when that happens, first of all, don't beat yourself up for going to those thoughts first. Your brain is working fine. We just need to jump in and come to our own rescue. I do think it's important to go through the process of thinking all of the thoughts and feeling all of the feelings and allowing your body to process, digest what's going on. In episode 56 called Adversity Quotient, I talk about an African proverb that says, smooth seas do not make a skillful sailor. When you're trying to navigate the 50-50 of life, the same notion applies. The best life lessons that result in your current life skills will always come from the season of adversity. So just know that this is that season. There is always much to glean from it, and like all seasons, it will pass. What we make the adverse season mean will determine how we will experience the season. Right now, I'm on a healing journey. My horse is on a healing journey. And we've been dealing with a couple of serious issues with him. And right now, the prognosis does not look favorable. Not life-threatening at this point, but not favorable for pursuing our bronze medal. When we get sucker punched like that, I want you to give yourself permission to feel all the feels, because going into toxic positivity just to avoid the crappy feelings is only prolonging the healing process, and it's counterintuitive to your growth through adversity and moving into resilience. You get to let yourself be honest with yourself and be in the river of misery with all of it for a while. I feel duped, like thinking all of the healthy things I've been doing over the years was enough. I also get to feel disappointed. I get to process feeling inadequate and even insufficient when it comes to helping Dutch on his journey. If I jump to at least I had 3 good years with him, and I'm grateful for that, then I'm not validating the authenticity of how I really feel right now. I get to feel all the feelings, and you do too. I know sometimes we feel that others invalidate our feelings with some of the things that they say and do, but we do it to ourselves way more often. So really watch how you're going through it and what you're saying to yourself. Your feelings, all of them, the positive and the negative, are equal. One isn't better than another, and you cannot outrun an unprocessed emotion. It will eventually manifest. I want to caution you against gratitude shaming yourself and others, and that might sound like this. There's always someone worse. And even if that might be true, bullying yourself or someone else into just thinking positive and grateful thoughts undermines your soul's current and valid experience of the event, and most of all, it prevents healing. Life by design isn't about only feeling the good feels, but it's about not buffering from the bad feelings and making them mean anything about you or anyone else. It's about processing and digesting and resting and pausing for a rest. As humans, when we feel a negative emotion, we feel uncomfortable. So naturally, we want to replace the negativity with something positive. We think that skipping to the good part is healing, but it's not. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, so to speak, and calling it a Barbie doll. No, it's still a pig. This week, notice how you respond to people who are going through it. Watch how we want to help them into positivity. So we may offer thoughts like, hang in there, look on the bright side. There's always a silver lining. You just need to find it. And everything happens for a reason. That's a good one. Really notice how uncomfortable you get when someone is sharing their difficult circumstance with you. So Sunday, when Martha stopped by, we both talked about what we're going through, and neither one of us offered the other one a thought that discounted how we were feeling. It's crappy. And when she said that to me, she said, this just stinks. That made me feel seen and heard and validated. And actually, it did more to inspire me than if she would have said anything else. And listen, don't get me wrong. Positivity isn't bad. That's not what I'm saying. But when it blocks our ability to recognize, validate, and process feelings, it can be very harmful and it prolongs healing, and it's not supportive at all. Invalidating your feelings is not a shortcut to getting on with it and over it. It's not a shortcut to positivity. It's prolonging the inevitability that these emotions will eventually erupt and make their presence known. Now, the key to processing the emotion is to understand that no action should be taken from where you are right now. When you feel sucker punched, you need time to catch your breath and get your legs steadied underneath you. You want to get back to a place of neutral before you take any action. So, right now, in action, rest, pause all the activity during this part of the process. Allow yourself to grieve if that's what feels in order. So here I am in the midst of my sucker punch and the wake that I'm standing in as a result. And I want to give you some specific things to think on and do. And it's exactly what I'm doing right now as I go through it, as you walk through the aftermath of your sucker punch. Number 1, don't take it personally. I hear you saying, but this is happening to me right now. How can I not take it personally? I want you to know that whatever's going on is not a reflection of you or your flaws. It's just happening. You can allow the pain and disappointment and even grief without beating yourself up in the process. And trust me, beating yourself up does not move you forward. And for sure, it doesn't keep you from making another mistake in the future. We are human. We get it wrong sometimes, but it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with us. Make sure you understand the difference. Sometimes we even do all the right things and things just happen. Don't take it personally. Number 2, if your sucker punch involves another person, avoid making the assumption about the other person. We can never know the truth of that other person. We can only know ours. When we sit around and try to figure them out and speculate their thoughts and emotions and actions, we prolong our own evolvement and growth. Only our truth is available to us, and so really stay in your lane on that one. Number 3, think about being a learner and educate yourself on a deeper level. Right now, I'm immersed in all things autoimmune for me, and for Dutch, it's all things neurological and skeletal. Learning makes me feel like I am doing something during this phase of healing from the sucker punch. Number 4, if your sucker punch is related to a specific event, and this is a tough one, stop the bleeding by stopping the story. Stop talking about it to yourself and to others. Stop playing the story in your head. Stop trying to play out, if I would have only done this and then that scenarios. This only perpetuates the event and keeps breathing life into the story. We all know people who have never been able to let go of something, and they keep telling the story. Don't be that person. Number 5, don't rush the healing process. It's going to take the time that it takes, so don't rush it. Rushing it only makes it take longer. Pause, rest, relax, breathe, steady yourself, and give yourself time to acclimate. This is a hard one for me. Don't be surprised if you feel the urge to rush the process. Then, when you feel ready and you feel like you have processed the emotion, you will notice that other emotions are also available to you, and they feel authentic and useful, like gratitude, curiosity, confidence, resilience, and courage. In Life by Design, and our goal of creating the best year ever, I want to give you an intention to add to your toolbox, and that is be intentional with allowing all of your emotions to be acknowledged, allowed, and experienced. Be intentional with allowing your human self to live the full human experience. This week, I am feeling sucker punched. All right, my friends, this is what I have for you, and now go have the best day ever.
That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you love this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week boot camp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.